India and China are moving towards the normalization of relations following the meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping on 23 October in Kazan, Russia, with the initiation of coordinated joint patrolling along the line of actual control. However, given the deep trust deficit between the two Asian powers, any move to revert the troop levels to the pre-2020 conditions poses significant risks for India. Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) Summit and G20 meetings have fostered an environment conducive to breakthroughs between the two. Agreements under discussion include resumption of direct flights, reciprocal accreditation of journalists, and improved visa facilities. Their developments represent only the low-hanging fruit. Any temptation to scale back troop deployments to the pre-2020 levels must be resisted, as such a move could prove disastrous. This caution is rooted in China's history of violating border agreements, including the 5 Principles of Peaceful Coexistence, 1954, the Border Peace and Tranquility Agreement, 1993, the Agreement on Confidence-Building Measures, 1996, the Protocol for the Implementation of Military Confidence-Building Measures, 2005, and the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination, 2012. Despite 31 rounds of talks under the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination Framework and 21 Corps commander-level discussions yielding some progress, these mechanisms have failed to prevent incidents like the 1962 war, the 1967 Nathu Lane conflict, the 1975 firing incident, and the more recent confrontations at Samdarong Chu, Chamar, Depsang, Doklam, Galwan, and Yangatse. This history underscores the need for continued vigilance in managing bilateral relations and securing the LAC. The question for India is how much trust can be placed in Xi Jinping's leadership. Time and again, China has embarrassed India by expanding its claims to previously undisputed areas. For instance, Galwan Valley, once considered uncontroversial, became a flashpoint. Similarly, in Bhutan, China arbitrarily raised the Sakting Wildlife Sanctuary as a disputed area to pressure India. Disputes along the LAC are categorized as either contested areas or zones of differing perceptions of the boundary. Beyond territorial issues, China's gray zone tactics include cyber attacks. India is the second most targeted country in Asia after Taiwan, causing losses amounting to billions of dollars. Moreover, China actively interferes in India's neighborhood, straining relations with Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, and, to a lesser extent, Bhutan. Instances like its near success in turning the Maldives against India, gaining port access in Sri Lanka, and suspected military activity on Myanmar's Coco Islands highlight China's strategic maneuvering to contain Indian influence in the Indian Ocean region. At a time when trust between India and China is at its nadir and China holds an upper hand in economic, military, intelligence, and technological domains, troop de-induction from the LAC must not be entertained under any circumstances. For the first time since independence, Chinese troops are deployed outside their peacetime accommodations in the challenging high altitudes of the Great Himalayan Ranges. This has created significant challenges for Beijing, including backlash from families due to the one-child policy, high sickness rates among Chinese soldiers, and the need to recruit local troops better suited to the harsh conditions of Tibet and Xinjiang. Despite efforts at theaterization, the Tibetan and Xinjiang military regions remain distinct, reflecting Beijing's logistical and organizational challenges. India must maintain consistent military and diplomatic pressure to compel China to resolve the border issue on favorable terms. Any haste to normalize relations by withdrawing troops will only encourage China to launch another major incursion, the big one, further undermining India's position. While economic ties with China, India's largest trading partner, offer short-term benefits, these gains should not come at the cost of national security and military readiness. India's current achievements stem from a balanced application of hard and soft power. It is imperative to continue this approach, leveraging diplomatic and military strengths to buy time for enhancing military capabilities, completing the transition to theaterization, and ensuring uninterrupted economic growth.